me. And who wants to be brave in giving me the definition of a plateau? This is a geography class, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a big mesa.
A big mesa. Okay, that means you have to define what mesa is.
Like a tabletop mountain type of?
Tabletop mountain. Look off in the distance here. You see that hilltop that's flat on the top?
Yes.
That's a mesa. Anybody know any Spanish?
Yeah.
What does
the table.
mesa mean?
Table.
Table, right? So that looks like a big table.
Nice and flat.
Now a plateau is just like that, just bigger. So here at the southern end of this mountain range that you all should know, anybody know the name of this mountain range that you're in right now?
Santa Rosa Plateau.
Santa Rosa Plateau is a flat part of these mountains that
Santa Rosa
separate
Mountain
Riverside County from Orange County.
Santa Rosa Mountain Range?
No, Santa Rosa Mountains are off just north of Anza-Borrego State Park. So St. Rosa, her name is on a lot of things because she did a lot of good things for the poor of South America. So St. Rosa has her name in a lot of places. Santa Rosa Mountains, north of the desert there, north of Borrego Springs. Santa Rosa Plateau at the southern end of this mountain range that separates Riverside County from Orange County. If you've ever driven over the Ortega Highway, it goes right through these mountains. San Bernardino Mountains is further to the north at the highest peak in Southern California is Mount San Gorgonio. Yeah, and you know a lot about Southern California. This is a good geography class.
Ortega?
The Ortega Highway goes up through this mountain range that is sometimes nicknamed the Ortegas because of that road, but they're not the Ortega Mountains. These are a mountain range. This is a mountain range that's named after the river, has the same name as the river that goes by Riverside. Well, the name of Santa Ana River, therefore the Santa Ana Mountains. So they go all the way up to the 91 freeway. If you've ever driven north on Interstate 15, past Lake Elsinore, the standing up above Lake Elsinore, the Santa Ana Mountains, all the way up to Corona, standing up above Corona, Santa Ana Mountains. But north of us, north of Lake Elsinore, north of Corona, the Santa Ana Mountains are classically shaped with pointy peaks, sharp ridge lines. Here at the southern end of the Santa Ana Mountains, it's flat on the top. That's why this part of the Santa Ana Mountains is called the Santa Rosa Plateau. It's about a 26,000 acre parcel of the Santa Ana Mountains that again are flat on the top, are fairly flat. And it's those mesas, those lava flow remnants, which are the reason why this part of the Santa Ana Mountains is flat. So what I'm going to be doing today is sharing with you some of the stories of the Santa Ana Mountains, some of the stories of the Santa Rosa Plateau, because everything has a story. Everything has something to say. You just need to know the language of it. You just need to know what it's saying, essentially. And it kind of makes things more enjoyable. When you go to a party, for instance, you go to a party, you don't know anybody, well, you can still have a good time. But if you know the people that are at the party, your time's going to be much more enjoyable. It's like when you go out on a hike, you don't have to know the name of that kind of tree. You don't need to know the origins of that kind of rock. You know, the place talks to you in and of itself. You don't need to know all these labels and things. They're not that important. But sometimes when you know some of those labels, you know some of those names, they tell you more about the place, the personality of the place. And if you know more about it, you're probably going to have a better time, just being the way we are as humans. The more we know at a party, the better time we'll have. So it's kind of like that. So my name's Rob, and I get to help you guys learn about the Santa Rosa Plateau. I'm a park interpreter, which means it's my job to share the stories of a place with the visitors. Not only so that they can enjoy it more, but so they can appreciate it more. Because the more we learn about things, usually the more we appreciate it. Hopefully, the better we can take care of it in the future as well. Anybody have any questions for us? Now, remember that the mountains here are pretty young. The mountains were pushed up here, the Santa Ana Mountains, and all of the mountains here in Southern California, including the San Bernardino Mountains that you mentioned earlier, San Jacinto Mountains that your school is named after, which has Idlewild up in it, Palomar Mountains, Observatory, south of Temecula, all the way down to the tip of Baja California. There are all these little mountain ranges. That's why we're in what's called the Peninsular Range province. You go north of LA, the San Gabriel Mountains. North of San Bernardino Mountains. West of LA, the Santa Monica Mountains. Those are the transverse ranges. Those run east and west. We're now in a north and south series of mountains that again go all the way to the tip of Baja, which is why they're called the peninsular ranges. But they weren't pushed up until about 3 million years ago. 10 million years ago, this was all flat. Western North America was completely flat. There were no mountains. It looked like Kansas. That's when those lava flows erupted that are today in those mesas. So today you won't see them, but if you drove up the road past the visitor center 4 more miles to the top of one of those mesas, those miniature plateaus, all you'd see is lava rock. All you would see is a rock that is filled with what are called vesicles or air bubble pockets. So as I pass this around, remember that this is what you'll see on top of those mesas because this is cooled lava. So when you're up on the mesas, you are not only standing atop the lava rock called basalt, but you're looking at what the entire Western North America landscape looked like 10 million years ago because that lava flowed flat over it, spread out, cooled as that basalt, and then stayed there. Mountains pushed up about 3 million years ago started eroding those as they were pushed up. The only parts of those lands that were completely flat are the tops of these mesas. So when you're on top of these mesas, you're looking back in time 10 million years. You're looking at the landscape of Southern California and Western North America 10 million years ago. So that rock has preserved the flat topography of Southern California, of ancient Southern California 10 million years ago. But this rock here that we're going to be seeing in this area is a lot different. This is what is underneath all of that basalt rock. It's underneath most of what you see in Southern California. And this used to be molten. So when a rock used to be molten, when it used to be melted, what do we call that kind of rock? Magma? Ooh, now magma is melted rock underground. Lava is melted rock above ground. So since they are both molten at one time, one being magma under the ground, one being lava, they have a special kind of name. That kind of rock, which used to be of fire, metamorphic. Metamorphic is changed rock. So close. There are 3 main kinds of rocks. Metamorphic is one, sedimentary is another, and igneous. Igneous is the third one. Igneous meaning ignite. So if you have a fire, ignite, igneous rock, it used to be either lava or magma. Lava rock you're passing around. If you look carefully at it, it's a very small, fine crystalline structure. It cooled quickly in the atmosphere, so the minerals didn't have time to grow to these big sizes of crystals. These are tiny crystals. When this rock erodes, when the wind and rain break it down, it creates a clay. So when you're on top of the mesa tops, when you're hiking on top of Santa Rosa Plateau's mesas, you look at the soil, it's clay, it's very fine. Pottery by Native Americans was made out of that sediment from this lava rock. But this area, does this look like clay? What's this?
Sand.
Sand, right? Sand and gravel. This didn't come from lava rock. So this is telling you that there's a different kind of rock here. You're up there, that's all you see on top of the mesas. Lava rock. Look at the sediment. Oh, even if you don't see any rocks, you can, okay, there's got to be lava rock around here. It's all clay. This area is mostly sand, so you're going to find this kind of rock, which used to be what? Melted rock underground. You said it before.
Magma.
Magma, right? Magma cooled slowly underground. So the minerals had the time to grow to very big crystals. Does anybody know what we call this kind of rock that used to be magma, cooled slowly underground? The minerals had time to grow to big crystals, and therefore it makes a very hard, sturdy rock that people like to put in countertops and things in kitchens.
Granite.
Granite, right? Granite used to be magma.